You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning, St. George. I am Bill Smith, and I'll be your meditation guide today. This month's topic is on relationship. But being Independence Weekend, freedom was just too tasty a morsel to pass by. So today's meditation will be a little bit about freedom from limitation. Find yourself a comfortable seat for your meditation. Take a moment to close your eyes and consider your life. Take a moment to honor everywhere you've been up until today. Give reverence to the way in which your life has unfolded through the years and with the many hardships you've gone through. Consider your gifts and the meaning of your life. Why did you come here to walk the path you're walking? Keep your eyes closed and breathe deeply, focusing on your long inhalations and exhalations. Take a moment to consider how your mind binds you. Are there ways in which your thinking keeps you small? Be totally honest. What do you believe you deserve? Repeat to yourself, I deserve the very best. Be with this affirmation for several deep breaths. I deserve the very best. I deserve the very best. Next, imagine how your physical body is holding you back. How's your health? Is there an imbalance there? Feel into the way your body limits you. Get really present with this feeling, however uncomfortable it might be, in regard to your body. Consider what you might be able to change to make you feel just a little bit freer, and imagine what that looks like and feels like. Continue to breathe deeply with your eyes closed, allowing both bodily and mental tension to melt away. Think about your life and how it serves to reflect back to you all your freedoms and all your bonds. Is there a behavior, a situation, or relationship that's holding you back? How can you transform this in order to feel freer? Feel into the way this one thing is out of alignment with your highest self, your true nature. Feel what it's like to be totally free from this one thing. Does your spirit feel lighter in some way? Feel this newfound sense of freedom in your entire being. Consider the following affirmation from Ernest Holmes. I know that that which I am is God in me, as me. In this knowledge, I know that my spirit is free of all limitations. I know that my mind works this truth about it myself. My thoughts now affirm my divine source. My thoughts are free of ideas of limitation, and they cease hindering the outflow of the indwelling presence. As I now know and declare the truth of my real nature, there becomes manifest in my thinking and experience the perfection and wholeness of God, which rightfully belongs to me. I am free with the freedom of God, and all things in my life are good. I am free with the freedom of God, and all things in my life are good. I am free with the freedom of God, and all things in my life are good. I am free with the freedom of God, and all things in my life are good. I am free with the freedom of God, and all things in my life are good. Now I invite you to bring your consciousness back to the room. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, gently open your eyes, and come back to the Zoom room. Our service will start in a few minutes. Namaste.
You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning, Centers for Spiritual Living, St. George. My name is Chris McCardle. I'm a practitioner here, and we're delighted to have you join us today, no matter where you are, or if you're joining us live, or if you're joining us later on to share what we have to offer with you today. So Centers for Spiritual Living, we are an open and loving and inclusive community, and we support your thinking creatively and living your own version of your deeply spiritual life. So actually, we have a purpose statement, a mission statement, and a vision statement. And today I'll be reading the purpose statement, which is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence and to awaken our community to its divine nature and the greatest expression of who we are. So our lineup for you today, behind the scenes and also doing our reading today, will be Marina Anderson. I, of course, am your host, and our beautiful meditation was given by practitioner Bill Smith this morning, and he will also be doing the Invocation coming up shortly. Our music is by the lovely Shay Barlow, and we look forward to what she's going to bring on today. And our talk this morning will be offered by Jeffon, and I always enjoy his talks, so I'm looking forward to also what he will bring. So now at this time, it's time to bring Shay Barlow into our your name says Cheryl on there, Shay.
I did it. Yep, and that was even me.
I know. So take it away, my love.
Thank you, honey. Okay, so everyone, I'm just going to invite you to listen to these words and just kind of absorb this prayer with me. And then Bill's going to pop in and he is going to do our invocation. And then the lyrics will be on screen after the invocation, and we can affirm the words together. Devoted one, take my heart, let your grace be mine. All is healed that I may yield to beat as love divine. Sacred one, take my sight, let your eyes be mine. Grant the truth of heaven's view to see as love divine. Abiding one, take my thoughts, let your will be mine. As I believe, all I perceive to know is love divine. Holy one, take my dream, let your cause be mine. To all I meet, the hands and feet, to serve as love divine.
As we come together as a spiritual family on this fantastic Independence weekend, I know that we are doing so under the guidance of the one God, the one presence, the one that activates all in love and is that love divine. I know that God is present in my life, and as we are all one, I know this presence is felt and seen in every life and every person who's within the sound of my voice today. I know as we continue our Sunday celebration in this fantastic weekend of celebration, I know that it's all about love. It's all about freedom, and it's all about how clearly God creates a path of love for us all. I just let it be so, and so it is.
So it is. Devoted one, take my heart, let your grace be mine. All is healed that I may yield to beat as love divine. Sacred one, take my sight, let your eyes be mine. Grant the truth of heaven's view to see as love divine. Abiding one, take my thoughts, let your will be mine. As I believe, all I perceive to know as love divine. Holy one, take my dream, let your cause be mine. To all I meet, the hands and feet, to serve as love divine. Blessed one, take my life, let your light be mine. Give me desire, eternal fire, to burn as love divine. May I live as love divine. And now we're going to welcome Marina Anderson, and she is going to provide our sacred reading this morning. Thanks, Marina.
Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, you all. Today's reading is a fine example of you never know where you're going to find inspiration. I found this sweet little book in my friend's bathroom reading pile. So I've been waiting for an opportunity to share it. So thank you, Blessed Sue. I send you love and healing and gratitude for this opportunity to fill in for you. It's called How to Live at the Beach by Sandy Gingras. At the beach, life is different. A day moves not from hour to hour, but leaps from mood to moment. We go with the currents, plan around the tides, follow the sun. We measure happiness by nothing we can hold, nothing we can catch. Everything, everywhere, life is jumping and elusive and momentously momentary. We want to elongate the days, distill the memories, make them last. At the same time, we know that the beauty is in the evanescence. Every wave comes in, then retreats. Every day promises, then turns its back and slips away. Every joy has a little tease in it, a give and a take, and leaves a wake of longing. So we do the best thing we can do. We open up the windows to our senses and let our hearts lead us back to the land of simplicity. And if we allow these moments to stick to us like sand, our lives can become castles. At the beach, treasure is not what we find, or is what we find, not what we buy. The beach is where we remember how to shine, how to peel ourselves down to the essence and shed our shells, how to reduce speed. Simplicity is an unbuttoning of what we've learned to wear as a self. Looser fit, a softer fabric. It's like a step we've forgotten how to dance, a native language we've forgotten how to speak in a rushy, complex world. We know that simplicity is within us and within our grasp, but simplicity is not simple to get to sometimes. Most people have forgotten how to get away from it all. Some people are so focused on other things that they miss the point. Yet no matter who comes to the beach, and no matter how lofty the castle they build, the tide and wind and time and other mysterious forces will eventually get to them and change them and maybe even flatten them. Thankfully, people keep coming back to the beach, and for that matter, back to love. For this lesson, sometimes it's best to get your walls knocked over and lose your most cherished constructs and be fully swept away. Simplicity is a process. It's a kind of surrender. It's a forgetting of the rules we never liked much anyway, of the values that have no real value, of the goals that never made much sense. And it's a remembering of how filling a day of nothing can be, of how magical quiet can be, how cool it is to be cool, and how easy it is to be uplifted. And so little miracles appear in every crack in the schedule where the unexpected is allowed and the moment gets watered with attention. The beach returns us to our childlike selves, frees us to be our most elemental, most beach bummy easy selves. We let sand feet in. We plan on a little rust. We make room for mistakes and wet towels. We put stuffy in yard sales. The beach is where there's no such thing as overgrown, where it's not the furniture, but who's sitting in them that matters, where floundering is natural and superficial can be super, where sometimes it feels just right to be fishy and salty and crabby. The beach is not as much about slackness of mind, although there is some good in that, as it is about mindfulness to small and simple things. The beach teaches us to redefine rush. It teaches us the value of the pause. It sinks us into contentment and keeps building us up. It brings us good humor. It sends us under the surface where we can act a little fishy and casting into the skies where we can become starfishers. It molds us into the shape of thankfulness. We keep getting the chance to transform ourselves. With any shift of wind or weight, we know we can come about, and we can keep on coming about. And that slow, crooked, seemingly aimless path of our lives at the beach may just be us getting closer and closer to our best selves. Have a beautiful Sunday and find your beach.
Sounds like a road trip might be in order, Marina.
I think so.
So we are welcoming you to a new month this year, 2022. We are living everyday wonder. And the month of July, we are exploring relationships. And this Sunday, the focus in that relationships is me, myself, and I, which apparently we're at the beach. So in this month's Science of Mind magazine, Molly Kate Brown, she wrote this. She said, when we make room for ourselves in our entirety, we're able to do the same for others. Kindness is contagious. Love heals. This is genuine alchemy. Similarly, Reverend Dr. David Alexander, he wrote, the seeds from which a world that works for everyone will be born lie sleeping in the sacred act of radical self-love. Wake them up. And this is a song by Paula Cole, just an amazing singer-songwriter in her journey to discover herself, and it's simply called Me. I am not the person who is singing. I am the silent one inside. I am not the one who laughs at people's jokes. I just pacify their egos. I am not my house, my car, my songs. They're only stops along my way. I'm like the winter, I'm a dark, cold female with a golden ring of wisdom in my cave. And it's me who is my enemy, me who beats me up, me who makes the monsters, me who strips my confidence. Oh, oh, oh. I am carrying my voice. I am carrying my heart. I am carrying my rhythm. I am carrying my prayers. You can't kill my spirit. It's soaring and it's strong. Like a mountain, I go on and on. When my wings are folded, the brightly colored moth blends into the dirt, into the ground. And it's me who is my enemy, me who beats me up, me who makes the monsters, me who strips my confidence. And it's me who's too weak, and it's me who's too shy to ask for the thing I love. And it's me who's too weak, and it's me who's too shy to ask for the thing I love. But I love, but I love, but I love. And I'm walking on the bridge, I am over the water, and I'm scared this hell, but I know there's something better. Yes, I know there's something better. Yes, I know, I know. And it's me, and it's me, and it's me, it's me, it's me. Okay, Chris, back to you, buddy.
It's me and you again, Shay.
Me and you, love.
I love that song. However, I'm having a problem attaching to everything today because I'm in my RV at Camp Cedar Ridge in Vernonia, Oregon, in the middle of the woods. So, Marina, I don't know how I'm going to get into the beach awareness and all that. Maybe I can go sit on the rocks on the side of the stream or something. And the me, myself, and I, me. I'm like here in this trailer, this RV in the middle of the woods, just me and my creatures. But anyway, it's time for me to introduce our guest speaker today, Jeffon Seeley. There he is. How are you, my man?
Hey, Chris, doing well.
The father of Jeffon.
That's it.
Well, I'm looking forward to what you have to say today. Go ahead and let's hear your talk for this Sunday.
Thank you so much, Chris. I want to just thank Bill for the really great meditation about freedom. And as we think about this 4th of July, that is tomorrow, if you're watching this now, the greatest freedom that I've found, it isn't necessarily what's out here, though that is extremely, extremely important. I am extremely grateful to be brought up where I am currently residing and all of these external circumstances. But all of this freedom in the external world means very little if internally we are imprisoned. And I think that this is in direct correlation with Che's song that she just shared. As we start thinking about all of these limitations that we often bring within our minds that hinders our ability to recognize our fundamental truth or universal foundation to think thoughts, to choose choices, to commit to actions. And unfortunately, I know for myself, there have been many, many years that I've spent in this prison that I've helped to create internally. That is, the bars of those prison are the limited thoughts that I have that I believe to be true about myself. And so as we move into celebrating our external freedom, I encourage you to also ensure that internally you are free, recognizing your ability to think, to choose, to act, to show up as the authentic version of yourself. So with that being said, this month's theme, this week's theme is about relationships, me, myself, and I. And as I was thinking about all of this, I started thinking, what is the greatest relationship that we have? The greatest relationship from my perspective that I have is the relationship that I have with me. That dictates and determines the way in which I show up, the way in which I interact with source, the way in which I interact with my family, the way in which I interact with this planet that we have to share with one another. So I encourage you to think about the relationship that you have with yourself. What is the quality? What is the caliber of that relationship? Is that something that truly reflects the divine? And as we start thinking about the relationship that we have with ourselves, a great place for us to begin to start is simply reflecting on all of the things that have aligned with precision to even enable this self, I'm talking about the capital SELF, to exist. Not just this physical body that we're moving around in, but our highest self. And as we start thinking about that, perhaps we can open our awareness to this idea of our ancestry. And the ancestry that I am speaking about, not just necessarily our family members, extended family who have graced this planet, but all of those things that have aligned with precision over the course of this sacred universe to enable us to be here in this moment of now. And I share this often with this community and all communities that I have the opportunity to speak at. And that is simply looking around us, looking up at the sky, recognizing the connection that we have with the sky that is above, the earth that is below, and everything in between. And as we start wrapping our awareness around this oneness, this infinite connection that we share with all things, suddenly we start recognizing that the relationship with self has more to do with all of that, which is all encompassing, more than just this finite idea of who I am in this moment of now. And I know if you're like me, then it seems as if so much of our life is solely based around this image that we have of who we are, of ourselves, without recognizing the greater self that enables this small self to exist. That's a lot of selves, but I hope that you're following what I'm sharing here. If we are able to see the highest self that exists within ourselves, if we are able to embrace and create this kind of relationship where compassion and peace and kindness and generosity and authenticity exist, then suddenly that transcends from out within ourselves towards everything. And so, from my perspective, when I think about me, myself, and I, the relationship that I have with the self, it is the relationship that encompasses everything. And as we start wrapping our mind, or at least entertaining these ideas, I know in my experience, there was a time in my life where the relationship that I had with me was not the best. And that tended to be because I was valuing the opinions, the views, the perspectives of other people more than I was willing to listen to that still small voice that was existing in here. And I know growing up in my youth and things of that sort, there were a lot of individuals who would say specific things that I would start believing what they were saying more than trusting the infinite part of my being. And because of that, I tried to find these escapes, or these little escape clauses that would allow me to bypass my own internal relationship with myself in order to say, well, I'm doing this, so it should be right. And what do I mean by that? Okay, follow me very, very closely here. It appears that for a lot of individuals, as we start walking down a spiritual path, we allow our perceived relationship with the divine to allow us to bypass the relationship that we have with ourselves. And when we start thinking from this perspective, if we are solely leaning towards the divine and creating this incredible relationship with the higher power, but at the same time discounting, dismissing, and diminishing ourselves, then do we truly have a relationship with the divine? And I know for me, I was doing that for years, for quite some time. I would think that all I have to do is get into the good graces of the higher power to ensure that I can say these prayers, that I can sit in meditation, that I can cultivate this type of relationship with the divine. And in doing so, I don't actually have to go into the deep caverns of my own mind and heart to begin to resolve these issues that are preventing me from loving me. And from that idea, from that type of thought, what I've realized is if I do not have a great relationship with me, if I do not have this reservoir of self-love within myself, then how can I say that I have a strong connection with the divine? After all, isn't it the divine that has enabled me to be? So if I truly love, honor, cherish, appreciate, create this relationship with the divine, then that must also encompass the relationship that I have with me. I hope that makes some sense. I hope that I'm not like going all in circles or like these clouds on the screen, like elevating into the sky without any real substance. But do not allow reaching for books like this to completely prevent you from creating a relationship in here. Do not think that just because you can recite lines from this book or from this book here, Do not think that just because you can recite certain lines that you do not have to create this self-love internally. These only can take you so far from my perspective. And if we truly love the divine, then we must also simultaneously have nothing but love for ourselves, because we would not be if it wasn't for the divine. Therefore, in honoring and cherishing the divine, it also includes who we are in this moment of now. Which brings me to this point. Our relationship to self. And you see how I'm using the capital S there. I'm not talking about the small, minuscule self that we often berate and push down and completely avoid to reflect upon and love and cherish and have gratitude for, but the relationship with our highest self must be equal to the relationship that we have with the divine. It is not one or the other. Instead, this is all encompassing. This is the sense of oneness. I think I talked a little bit. I think I've said enough about that there for you to get the gist or catch my drift. So you see these mathematical problems or equations on the board. As we start thinking about the relationship that we have with ourselves, and I don't expect anybody to like remember calculus or any of that stuff and come up with solutions to those math problems. I couldn't either. But as we start thinking about the relationship that we have with who we are, we start recognizing that everywhere we go, there we also are. Therefore, if there are specific conflicts that tend to pop up in our lives based upon certain experiences that we have with a person or group of people, or at our workplace, or in our community, or as we look out into the world, if we find these conflicts and challenges and difficulties popping up time and time again, I'm sharing these math equations to encourage you to remember a fundamental mathematical principle, and that is that of the denominator. If you remember in fractions, the numerator's on top, the denominator is on the bottom, and there is a common denominator that exists. And I share this in this whole type of idea of conflict, because if there are conflicts popping up in different places that you happen to appear or happen to be, I would encourage you to look at what the common denominator is. And to save this, mental spiraling and thinking as to what the common denominator actually means, it is you. It is you. Therefore, the relationship that we have with ourselves tends to determine and dictates the relationships that we have with other individuals. And if there is constantly a war that is waging within our own minds and hearts, then we often allow those wars to come out from within and begin to show up all over in our particular experience. If we do not have love for self, then it is difficult to find love for others. It is also kind of pouring into an empty pitcher, or a pitcher with a hole at the bottom, if we are trying to gain love from the outside world without cultivating our own internal love. And so I'm encouraging all of us to just simply ask and look from a humbling perspective. What relationship do you have with the conflicts in your life? And how are those conflicts related to the relationship that you have with you? And are you willing to admit that? Because if you are, then I guess this kind of also includes this idea of freedom. If it does have some type of relationship with you, the conflicts I'm speaking of, then you're in a place where you can bring resolution towards them. After all, most of the conflicts that we have in our experience is based upon what is happening in here. And if it is based upon what is happening in here, then we all have the ability to simply begin to think something different. Very easy to say, very easy to talk about. It's an entirely different thing when we start doing these internal introspection and identifying the things that we have just been allowing within our mind day in and day out. So I encourage you just to pause and reflect on that. Now, I was in preparing to share with you all, and I know that you all are well aware that often when I share, it's like I have so much I want to share in like a 20-minute span that I I kind of bounce all over the place, and it's okay because I give myself permission to just speak freely, and you all are willing to listen. I would say a lot of you are willing to listen, and I'm extremely grateful because you've helped me recognize more of the gifts that exist within myself, and also just given me permission to speak about things that at times we just simply don't talk about. And I was questioning whether I should share this or not, because in America, in many different parts of our country, in many different parts of our world, there is this sense of self that people have that actually is detrimental. And what do I mean by that? A lot of people solely think of themselves bringing in abundance, bringing in prosperity, bringing in these material type of things. And in doing so, it is not adding to the greatest good for everybody. And as we think about the planet right now, this day and age, it seems as if this selfish desire from human beings is causing a lot of disruption, a lot of chaos, and simply put, a lot of suffering. And as a spiritual community, we cannot sit back and act as if what is happening out here in the world is not existing. Now, we can take a higher approach and begin recognizing that even at the depths of all the chaos, all the suffering, all the struggle that exists on our planet, there is something there. There is a higher power. There is a vibrant essence. There is an infinite intelligence that exists. Yes, we can do that. But stopping there seems to be adding to the problems. So I encourage us all to think about the relationship that we have with ourselves, and then taking it a step further and saying, does the relationship that I have with me, is that contributing to any of the suffering that other human beings are experiencing? Am I trying to succeed at the expense of somebody else? Because if so, then I don't think that we can say that we are truly for freedom. If so, I don't think that we can say that we are truly for love and oneness and compassion and creating a world that works for everybody. Instead, it simply just seems as if we are for self. We are out for self. And I know, talking with many of my friends who are not in this new thought philosophy or tradition or path, at times individuals say, well, is that really creating the greatest good for everybody? Or are these philosophies and principles only creating the greatest good for those people who are associated with it? And what do you think? I mean, when you ask yourself that, do you truly feel as if we are helping to create this world that works for everybody? Or is it more of this selfish accumulation of materialistic things that allow us to boost up our ego and keep us, I would dare say, mentally enslaved, because we are unwilling to transcend these small little versions that we have of who we believe we are, to ascend into a higher state of consciousness that begins to transform the world that we find ourselves upon? And it feels as if humanity is at this brink, this breaking point, where we can either transcend and move into greater levels of consciousness, or we can continue to pacify and give a pacifier to our small selves because we are afraid of what would happen if we actually gave ourselves permission to ascend. And notice, all of this must occur within ourselves. And all of this is based upon the relationship that we have with ourselves. And all of this is based upon the relationship that we have with the higher power. Again, we cannot say that we are one with the higher power if we are not using our energy in a way to ensure that we are sending love and bringing compassion and peace to everything that higher power is a part of. And I'm speaking about humanity, all humans. I'm speaking about the planet that we are upon. I'm speaking about all the generations in the past and all the generations into the future. And so I just encourage us to begin thinking about this concept of the little self and our higher self. And I think that all of us, I know that all of you who I've met, I would dare say that we speak, we have conversations, we interact with one another in a way that seems as if we are in alignment with this highest self, which means we are able to see this within each other. I'm hoping that we're able to also see this within other individuals. But what happens in our own private time, when nobody's around, when we're not having conversations with somebody who's like-minded in our community, but when we are with ourselves, do we really align with that highest self? Or do we just keep ourselves in these small little confines of our own limitations based upon what we have constructed, based upon what we have taken in, and align with this small self, the small self that continues to perpetuate many of the difficult things that we find in this day and age? That's a question that I've been sitting with, and that I don't always have the answer to. And I know that I succumb to this little self often. And I know that there are things that the way in which I've lived, and at times that I live, does not add to the greatest good of all. It's solely for this moment of now, getting what I need, what I think that I want, material, whatever the case may be. But that doesn't seem, and I know, if I'm honest with myself, I know that that is not bringing more peace to the world. It's continuing to perpetuate the same patterns and problems that we have. And I could easily grab the blanket of spirituality, put it around me, and act like it's a cloak that prevents me from seeing the realities and saying it's all one. It's very easy to do. Or I could embrace a level of spiritual maturity and begin recognizing that the very gifts that I've come into this world possessing, that consisting of my ability to think, choose, and act, can be used in a way to help bring more peace to our planet. Realizing that what is done to one is done to all, because it's all interconnected. And the thoughts that I think about myself has some relationship to the thoughts that I think about other people. And yes, I'm talking about those thoughts that you don't tell people that you think. And that's something that only we can heal, that only we can bring resolution to. And so there are a few questions then that pop up immediately when I begin thinking about me, myself, and I, the relationship that I have with my being. And I ask you this: is your relationship with self, the relationship that you have with you, is it adding more peace and compassion to our planet? And I know some of us might say, well, sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. And if you were to create some type of ratio, would it be 40% peace and 60% chaos? Would it be 70% peace and 30% chaos? I mean, what is your ratio based upon the relationship that you have with you? And this is the relationship that you don't tell anybody about. It's the one that occurs in like the quietness of your own mind, or maybe the loud chaoticness of your own mind. Another question: if everyone had the same relationship with their self as you do with yourself, would our world shine with more peace? Would you want to be around those individuals if they had the same relationship with themselves as you do with yourself? Why or why not? And how can you improve the caliber or quality of the relationship that you have with you? And finally, what is the greatest challenge you have in creating an empowering relationship with you? And I know for myself, it is solely based upon the self-image that I've created at earlier stages of my life. It's almost as if my past will pop up and try to pull me back into this old idea or old belief of who I am, or what I was, or what I am in this moment of now. So what is your greatest challenge? Because that challenge then becomes an incredible opportunity for you to transcend some of those very petty disagreements or conflicts or internal wars that you've had, to move into a higher realm of dwelling, of existing, of living, of being. And again, the relationship that we have in here dictates all the relationships out here and is in direct correlation with the relationship we have with the divine. Not the relationship we say we have with the divine, but the actual relationship we have with the divine. Humbling? Perhaps. Powerful? Absolutely. What will we do with it? It's dependent upon you. Last slide. So as we embrace these concepts and these ideas, suddenly we start recognizing that true love of self, me, myself, and I, is love for all. It is not one or the other. And it is difficult, if not impossible, to truly have unconditional love for another person if we have not first found that within ourselves. So I encourage all of us, as we move throughout this day, as we move throughout this week, as we move throughout the rest of this year and beyond, to pause often and ask, what is the quality of relationship that I have with me? Is that relationship correlated with the way in which I show up? Am I creating internal conflicts that then spill out into my everyday reality? And do I have genuine love for the divine? Because if so, then I would have nothing but unconditional love for myself. I hope that this has made some sense. I know I kind of speak in a very broad context. I have a lot of ideas that I want to share, but I think that this was an important conversation for us to have. And know that we cannot say that we are for oneness if we do not first and foremost love ourselves. We cannot say that we are for this divine order that is everywhere present if we are unwilling to actually honor and appreciate the divine order in our everyday lives, because that also includes us. And to bring this to a close, one of the greatest, I would say, quotes or ideas that I embrace every day is from Napoleon Hill. And this is really what freedom means to me. He said, "O divine providence, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make greater use out of the riches you gave me at birth, consisting in my ability to direct and control my mind to whatever ends I desire." The greatest freedom that we have is the freedom to think, to move, to exist, to be, to choose, to act, to assist in co-creating our reality. And even if we were in the most oppressive environment, we would still have this internal freedom because this is what we've come into this earth possessing. So I encourage all of us to celebrate it, not just today, but celebrate it each day of our life. Thank you for your time, your energy, your attention. I hope that you can take like one little piece of this conversation and bring it with you and apply it to your everyday experience. Peace and blessings. And so it is. From this place, let us just take a deep breath in and send it out. Another breath in. Release it out. And know this with me. There is one infinite essence that flows through all things. It is that which we are. It is that which everything is. Being one with this sacred energy, may we realize that we are guided and directed and that we can use our gifts in a way to bring more peace, more love, more compassion to this planet and to ourselves. Let us just simply be grateful, knowing that each moment of each day, this infinite essence is with us. It is everywhere. It is a part of everything. Celebrate this. See this unconditional love and compassion that is forever pouring forth in our experience. As we embrace this, let us just simply release it out into the universe, knowing that that which we send out continuously comes back frequently. Embracing all of this, let us just simply say, and so it is. Thank you all very much. Peace and blessings.
Holy spumoli. Jeffon, I honestly, I'm so very blessed and so grateful that you are one of our guest speakers. Your talks are so thought-provoking and deep-reaching, and I know you spoke that you feel like they're kind of all over the place, but that's where we are. That's where my head's at. My head's all over the place trying to grasp a lot of these concepts. And one of the things that I'm so grateful for about this teaching is, and speakers like you in particular, is that what you've shared, I will take with me for the rest of the week and hopefully the rest of my life, because I will be looking at these conflicts that I have everywhere. And some of them, one of the things that came to me is some of them are actually almost hidden within myself. I don't even really know I have them, you know? And,
Yeah.
and I'm always trying to live this life out of that book or the books or the teachings, but there is this inner dialogue. It's constant,
Yes.
and I was just thinking, it's 20 minutes, man. It's such a short amount of time. I'd love to do like a workshop with you all day, or just I'd love to just spend an evening around a fire and having a long conversation with you about all of these
Definitely.
things. It's one of my favorite things to do. So anyway, I'm rambling off and I apologize, but I'm so appreciative of you. I look forward to the Zoom meeting today. I saw one of the comments coming across from Alan is it doesn't get any better than this. And honestly, for me, this kind of talk is at the top of the reasons why I'm in this philosophy. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
It's from my heart for sure. Thank you. All right, it's time for our announcements. Gosh, you guys, please join us for the Zoom meeting. There was just so much there, and if you want, just rewatch the talk. They're on Facebook Live and they're on YouTube. You can go back, and I know I certainly will. So Reverend Joe's not with us today, but this is actually formally his first day as our senior minister for his full month being Reverend Joe. He's also wants you guys to know out there, no matter where you are, if you've got questions about our philosophy, our teaching, or what's going to be happening at our center, you can email those questions to stgeorgecsl@gmail.com. Joe does start speaking regularly next week, so I look forward to having him as our senior minister. I'm really excited to see what's to come. And our in-person gathering, another thing that I'm excited, but I'm going to be missing because I'm out here in the wilderness of Camp Cedar Ridge, is the in-person gathering. It's going to be next Saturday, and it's at Encircle. It's going to be hosted by Encircle. It's at 190 South, 100 East. This house was designed and put together. It's an old pioneer house. It was completely gutted, remodeled from floor to ceiling. It's a fantastic place for the LGBTQ plus community. You will love it. It's got a big property, lots of shady trees outside in a courtyard. So come gather with us together next week at Encircle, right downtown St. George. We are here for you. We speak of community support, and it's here. If you're struggling, if you need anything, I mean, we do it within our community, but I'm reaching out to anyone out there. If you'd just like someone to talk to, or if you're struggling, or you've got a family member, or whatever it might be, reach out. You've got a whole community here of people that are amazing, who are loving and supportive and will be there for you. So, please reach out. You can call the number, the 435-893-6702, leave a message, and we'll get back with you. And if you're not, into reaching out or having a conversation or bringing people in, just throw us a prayer request. We've got practitioners. We get those prayer requests. We do prayer for them. We share them amongst ourselves, and we do prayer treatment for anyone out there. And you can get that request into prayer, PRAYER, at CSLSGeorge.org. Okay, tithes and offerings. This is our slide that's come up now. I invite you can take your phone and scan a picture of the QR code. You can give online, go to CSLSG.org and go to the donation page. You can also give by mail to the P.O. Box 3131 in St. George, 84771. And, the way I look at it is if you're being fed spiritually, and if you really are enjoying these and you want to see our center continue to grow and prosper, these are the opportunities that you can help create this space that we're offering and keep going. So please go ahead and donate, and we look forward to your gifts. And as you all know, we have a Zoom community conversation every Sunday following service. You can get the links on the CSLSG.org webpage. You just go to that, click on access meetings, and there is a link. You just click on the link and it will actually open up Zoom, and voila, you will be there with us sharing. We look forward to seeing you. I can't wait to hear the conversation today. And in that Zoom meeting today, our practitioner, Bill Smith, will be there. He is available if you would like. There's a chat window. You can just type in a little chat that says, I'd like a prayer today, and we will take you into your own private room with Bill, and he'll give you a prayer. All right. Sunday's coming up. These are the talk topics from Reverend Joe on July 10th. You and I are we. I just wore my Sense8 t-shirt that says something like that. I wore it yesterday. And on July 17th, you and me create society, and we are Star Stuff. And on the 31st, the one and only. Looking forward to Joe's lineup. Join us each of these Sundays, and we will see you there. And now it's time for our closing affirmation. And we all pop in. We got Marina, and let's take it away.
All right, here we go. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it, I embrace it, and I share it.
Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is becoming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys. All right.
Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining
everybody.
us. Come to Zoom. We love you all. See you in a few minutes at noon on Zoom.
Thank you, Jeffon.
You're
That was
welcome.
Thanks,
fabulous.
Jeffon.
Thank you.